Thanks for becoming a Can-Am side-by-side owner, and welcome to the safety video. This is a short video filled with safety information. As a new Can-Am side-by-side user, you are going to enjoy this exciting vehicle that makes it possible to have a passenger right beside you. Watch this video before using your Can-Am side-by-side. Failure to do so may result in serious injury or death. In addition to watching this video, take the time to read and follow your operator's guide. It should be kept with your vehicle at all times. Moreover, you must also read and understand all safety labels affixed to your vehicle before riding. That way, you will keep the important safety tips in mind. Riding on side-by-side vehicles poses certain risks like any other type of vehicle. That's why it's very important to have the skills and knowledge to be totally in control of your vehicle at all times. It's also critical to understand your vehicle's operating characteristics and limitations. One characteristic of your Can-Am side-by-side is that it's wider than most ATVs. If you are an ATV rider, you need to be especially aware of that extra width at all times. Respect local laws and regulations before riding in public areas. Your next step is to practice in a controlled, low-risk environment so that you can become familiar with your vehicle's behavior by doing the practice exercises shown in the guide. We'll go over this in more detail later in this video. More formal training is also a good idea, so we also recommend that you enroll in a class to hone your knowledge and skills even more. You should refer back to your operator's guide regularly to refresh your knowledge. The Can-Am side-by-side is a different type of off-road vehicle. Its configuration makes it much different from an ATV. In this section, we will show you the distinctive features and operating characteristics of this vehicle. This vehicle handles differently from other vehicles. A rollover or tip-over can occur quickly during abrupt maneuvers such as sharp turns or simply by side-hilling or riding across steep hills or over obstacles. So don't assume that the vehicle will not tip or roll over. You must know the limits of your vehicle under different riding conditions. Do not attempt maneuvers that may be risky for you, your passenger, or bystanders. Use care when turning and slow down before entering a turn. Do not turn the steering wheel too far or too fast for your speed and environment. Avoid sudden or hard acceleration when turning, even from a stop or low speed. Never perform donuts, skids, slides, fishtails, jumps, or any other stunts. Avoid paved surfaces. If you must drive on pavement, turn gradually and go slowly. The best place to ride your Can-Am side-by-side is on loose, soft, packed, unpaved surfaces. This vehicle is not intended for public road usage. Riding on paved surfaces may seriously affect handling and control of the vehicle and may cause a sudden loss of control. On low-grip surfaces like snow, the steering responses are not as crisp and precise. Stopping distances are lengthened and acceleration becomes sluggish. First, the Can-Am side-by-side has two seats configured side-by-side and a restraint system made up of seat belts, lateral nets, shoulder guards, footrest, and hand grips to help keep users inside the cockpit. It is of utmost importance that you and your passenger always buckle up seat belts and lateral nets before riding. Furthermore, the operator and passenger should always keep their entire bodies inside the cockpit. The operator should hold the steering wheel firmly with both hands, placing his left foot on the footrest and sit against the backrest. The passenger should hold the hand grips firmly with both hands, place his right foot on the footrest, and sit against the backrest. Riding an open-air vehicle like your Can-Am side-by-side requires wearing proper protective gear. Protective gear helps you stay comfortable and can help provide protection against the elements. Recommended basic protective gear for the operator and passenger includes a jacket that protects you from sunburn, cold temperatures, branches, and bushes, a sturdy over-the-ankle footwear with non-slip soles, full-fingered gloves that protect you against wind, sun, cold, heat, and flying objects. Above all, an approved helmet with proper eye protection that protects your head and brain against injury and protects your eyes against flying elements. On long rides, it's a good idea to carry rain gear. A dry rider will be much more comfortable and alert than a rider who is wet and cold. The operator must keep his arms, legs, and head inside the cockpit at all times by fastening the seat belt and lateral net, holding the steering wheel firmly, and by placing his left foot on the footrest. The passenger must keep arms, legs, and head inside the cockpit at all times by fastening seat belt and lateral net, holding the hand grips firmly, and by placing their right foot on the footrest. If the vehicle rolls over, any part of your body outside the cockpit can be crushed by the cage or other parts of the vehicle. Never try to stop a rollover using your arm or leg. Never grab the cage while riding. If you think or feel that the vehicle may tip or roll, keep both hands on the hand grips and your foot on the footrest. Riding in side-by-side vehicles poses certain risks, like any other type of vehicle. That's why it's very important to have the skills and knowledge to be totally in control of your vehicle at all times. It's also critical to understand your vehicle operating characteristics and limitations. Finally, every time you go out for a ride, you accept inherent risks, such as those arising from terrain conditions and weather. But you can reduce your exposure to these risks by using good judgment, skills, and vigilance while operating your vehicle. You must be at least 16 years old and avoid anything that impairs your own abilities, such as alcohol, drugs, and fatigue. It is equally important that your passenger be at least 12 years old and be able to hold hand grips and place his foot on the footrest while seated against the backrest. He must not ride after consuming drugs or alcohol. Another key way to reduce your exposure to risk is by carefully planning and preparing. By thinking ahead, you can often avoid situations that may be beyond your skill level. Preparing to ride your vehicle means that you perform regular maintenance to keep it in good working condition and inspect it before every ride as outlined in your operator's guide. Let's take a look at the controls found on your Can-Am side-by-side. Number 1. Steering wheel. Use both hands on the wheel, but take care not to roll your thumbs around it. To steer your vehicle, simply turn in the direction you want to go. Number 2. Accelerator pedal. This pedal is located on the floor on the right side. To control engine speed, use your right foot to activate the pedal. To increase engine speed, slowly press on the pedal. To decrease it, release the pedal. A spring mechanism returns the pedal to the idle position when you completely release your foot. Number 3. Brake pedal. When it comes to stopping, your Can-Am side-by-side braking system functions similarly to that of a car. The brake pedal is located on the floor on the left side. To decrease the vehicle's speed or to stop the vehicle using the brake, simply press on the pedal with your right foot. Be careful to gradually apply the brake to adjust the intensity of the braking force needed, depending on the terrain conditions. Avoid locking the wheels to maintain directional control. Number 4. Shift lever. Your right hand operates the shift lever located on the lower console. The shift lever is used to change the gearbox position. Make sure the vehicle is completely stopped and that the brake is applied before using the shift lever. Your vehicle's gear pattern is P, R, N, H, and L. The P is for park. The park position locks the gearbox to help prevent vehicle movement. Always use the park position when the vehicle is not in operation. Before dismounting from the vehicle, always put the shift lever to park. The vehicle can roll if it is not in park. The R is for reverse. Your Can-Am side-by-side is equipped with a reverse gear so you can back up easily. But backing up your vehicle should be done with some caution. Always be sure that the way behind is clear and always apply the throttle gradually. Be careful not to steer abruptly when backing up, as it could lead to a loss of vehicle control or rollover. Refer to the reverse section of your operator's guide for detailed instructions on how to operate in reverse mode. The N is for neutral. The H is for the high range in the forward direction. This setting is the normal driving speed range. The L is for the low range in the forward direction. We recommend using this gear when carrying a trailer or when fully loaded when you need all the torque at low speed. Number 5. Ignition switch. The ignition switch is located on the upper console and has 3 positions. When you insert your key, it is in position number 1, off. When you turn your key, one position to the right, the electrical system and lights are on and you are ready to start the engine. This is position number 2, on with lights. One more step to the right and the switch is at position number 3. This position is similar to the previous one, except that the lights stay off. When you want to stop the engine, you have to turn the ignition switch to the off position. Speaking of keys, your vehicle comes with 2 different ignition keys. The regular gray key limits the top speed, power, and torque of your vehicle. This may be useful for riders who prefer less performance. We recommend giving this key to a less experienced operator who wants to drive the vehicle. The performance black key gives full access to engine performance. There is also an orange work key available at your dealer. This key gives the limited performance often required on some construction sites. Rollovers, tip-overs, collisions, and loss of control resulting in serious injury or death are possible, no matter which key you are using. Number 6. Engine start button. The engine start button is next to the ignition switch to the right. Simply press and hold the button to start the engine. Once the engine has started, release the button. Number 7. Sport switch. The sport switch, located on the right side of the upper console, has an effect on engine mapping for crisper throttle response when sport mode is selected. Number 8. High and low beam switch. The high and low beam switch is located on the left side of the upper console. You should have the ignition switch to the second position before setting the intensity of the light. Number 9. Two-wheel or four-wheel drive switch. This switch is located next to the previous switch on the upper console. When you need to use this switch, don't forget to stop the vehicle and apply the brake first. The 2 rear wheels are engaged when two-wheel drive mode is selected. Number 10. Override switch. This switch is located beside the shift lever on the lower console. The function of the override switch is to bypass the engine speed limiter while in reverse.